Okay, so today this is the continuation, which is part 2 of stoichiometry. So in this, the following slides, we'll be talking about unit conversions, specifically about grams to moles and moles to grams. So ibig sabihin parang vice versa on how we will convert the grams into moles and so on. Okay, so in conversion of units, it is important to always analyze the problem. Okay, so always ask these two questions. What is given? So you could, in a problem, pwedeng ibibigay na sa inyo yung value in grams or in moles. And it will ask, halimbawa, how many moles are there in 45 grams of carbon dioxide. So, ganun, ano? So, again, kailangan nyo malaman yung dalawa, what is given and what is asked. So, this will always be the first step of our stoichiometry. So, here, we have this formula in order for you to easier understanding. So, if you are given the grams and you are asked for moles, you have to use the molar mass of the given compound, no? Kaya kayo tinuruan kung paano mag-compute for molar mass earlier in the first video. So, kung hindi nyo pa napapanood yung ating part 1, that is the basic foundation of this. So, kailangan master nyo na yun. Okay? So, and then, from moles to formula units, or for example, if you're asking for particles or atoms, so we use the Avogadros number. So, kung moles naman, and then we have to convert it into grams. So, given na yung moles, ko-convert nyo sa grams, we still have to use the molar mass. Okay, so this is a detailed explanation of how you will compute. So, given that we have the mass in grams and you are asked to find the moles, we have to divide our mass, yung given natin, sa ating molar mass, no? So, you have to find the RFM or relative formula mass in order to convert into moles. So, ngayon naman, if you are given the moles, nakalagay na sa moles yung given, and you are asked to find kung ilan yung grams, papunta na tayo dito, pabalik, just look at the arrow, then you have to multiply the moles doon sa molar mass. Okay? So, for this video, we will be talking about the conversion nitong dalawa lang, no? Hindi pa natin i-discuss itong dalawa or kung paano gawin tong tatlong to all together. Okay, so yung the mole natin, which is 6.022 times 10 raised to the 23rd power, is what we call the Avogadros number. So, Avogadros Constant. So, scientists have found that regardless of what element or formula or compound, so kahit mapa-element man yan, formula or compound, it is all composed of 6.02 times 10 raised to the 23rd power of atoms or particles. So, which means it is a constant. So, for example, sa element tayo, no? Kasi sabi dito, element, formula, or compound. In element, 1 mole of hydrogen is how many atoms? And next question, how many atoms is 1 mole of neon? Or how many particles is 1 mole of carbon? So, all of the answer in here is 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd power or yung ating Avogadros number, no? So, pag tinatanong na yung mole into atoms, we use the Avogadros number given na 1 mole lang siya, no? 1 mole, and then of course, you multiply it on itself. So, how many atoms is 1 mole of neon? Of course, ganun ulit, Avogadros Constant. So, yan yung na-discover ng mga scientists natin. So, even sa compounds, no? So, sa compound naman natin, so, 1 mole of NaCl is how many atoms? How many atoms is 1 mole of CO2? How many particles are in 1 mole of NH4? So, lahat ng answer ng yan is the Avogadros Constant. Okay, so, bumabalik at bumabalik pa rin tayo dito sa conversion na to. So, again nga, meron tayong given na mole. Diba? So, as you can see, binigay sa atin yung mole. So, for example, here, no? 1 mole of hydrogen is how many atoms? So, dito, tinatanong dito yung number of particles or atoms. So, you have to multiply it by 6.02 times 10 raised to the 23rd power. Okay? So, basta 1 mole yan, you have no problem. Lagi lang yan Avogadros Constant. However, pag yan ay naging 2 na, pag naging 2 or other numbers, you have to multiply it by the Avogadros Constant. And we use the scientific calculator for that. Okay. So, again, yun nga pinakita dito, no? You just have to multiply given na meron tayong moles. And yung arrow natin, ang hinahanap ay number of particles or atoms. We multiply it. Okay, now, we move on to conversion of grams to moles. So, eto po tayo, no? Mass natin in grams ang given. So, ibibigay dito yung mass. And then, ang hinahanap ay moles. So, we have to divide it by molar mass. So, it is important step na alam nyo kung paano kumuha ng molar mass. Okay. So here we have the equation. So mass of kung ano mang given yon. Okay. So to continue looking at the equation, we will cancel out yung ating mass in grams kasi ang hinahanap nga natin yung mole. So and then yung molar mass matitira sa equation is this. So, you have to multiply yung given natin with 1 mole. So, yeah. Okay, so, for example, to make 100 grams of para-aminobenzoic acid, so, ang composition of elements niya is we have carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, and oxygen. The following elements are needed. Find the moles of each component. So, again, ang first step nga natin is itanong sa sarili natin, what is given? So, we already have given mass in grams of each element here. And, ang tanong is, ang pinapahanap sa atin is the moles of each component. So, hinahanap yung moles. So, first step natin is to find the molar mass or grams per mole of a compound. So, of course, dito, si carbon, if we look at the periodic table, we will find na meron siyang 12.01 grams per 1 mole of our given. So, we cancel out our grams here. Sorry, and then yung grams natin dito. So, what we get is 61.31 divided by 12.01. We get 5.10 mole of carbon. Okay, so I have a calculator here. So, we compute 61.31 31 divided by 12.01. So we get this number, which is 5.10. I'm getting the 2 decimal places here. So 5.10 of our 5.10 moles of carbon. Okay, so next problem. So we get this, sorry. Okay, so we have a given of 5.14 grams of hydrogen. So kinuha natin yung molar mass, which is 1.01. So compute po natin ito using our calculator. So we have 5.14, cancel out yung dalawa nating symbol of G or grams, divided by 1.01. So we get 5.089. So I'm going to round this off. So magiging 5.09. Okay? 5.09 of hydrogen. Okay, next. So next we have nitrogen. So 10.21 grams yung given natin. Again, cancel out yung grams and grams. So nakuha natin yung 14.01 from the periodic table as is. So yan yung atomic mass niya. So we compute that 10.21. So we have 10.21 divided by 14.01. So we get 0.73 moles. Okay. So insert na lang tayo dito. 0.73 moles of nitrogen. So that's the final answer here. Okay. And then yung last natin, we have oxygen. So 23.33 grams yung given natin. Ang hinahanap natin ay moles. So nakuha ko yung atomic mass or molar mass ni oxygen here. So we get 16 grams per 2 moles. Okay? Per 1 mole of oxygen. So magka-cancel out ulit siya. And we compute. So we have 23.33 divided by 16. So we get 1.46. Okay, so 1.46 moles of oxygen. Okay. Okay, now we are done with practicing yung grams to moles. So ganun lang siyang kadali, no? We just have to follow the given formula. So now we move on to moles to grams. So dito naman sa moles to grams, ibibigay sa inyo yung moles sa problem natin, and you are asked to find the grams. So ang gagawin natin dito, as susundan natin yung arrow, i-multiply natin with the molar mass yung ating moles. So given that we have the moles of X, So, we have to find the molar mass ng ating given compound or element. So, per 1 mole, kada 1 mole, so, kaya tayo may mole dito, no, sa baba natin, kung bakit siya nag-switch is because, kailangan natin ika-cancel out natin yung mole dito. So, para makuha natin yung grams here. Sorry, may error dito. Okay. So, cancel out yung mole, and we are left with the grams here. Okay, so, steps natin, of course, write what is given and what is asked. So, kung ano yung meron tayo at kung ano yung hinahanap. And step number 2 is to find the molar mass in grams per mole of a compound. So, unahin natin yung step 1. So, for example, we have a question, what is mass in grams of 1 mole of aluminum? So, meron na tayong given. What is given? We have 1 mole. Sinulat ko na siya dyan. And, ang tinatanong is mass in grams. Hinahanap yung mass in grams ni aluminum. Okay, so, I found out na ang molar mass o atomic mass ni aluminum base sa ating periodic table is 26.98 grams per mole. So, kaya siya nakaganyan. And, it is written in that way para ma-cancel out natin yung 1 mole here. Sorry, yung 1 mole here. And yung mole dito, no? So, we'll be left with 1 times 26.98 divided by 1 ulit. So, basically, para siyang 1 times 26.98. So, we get 26.98 grams of aluminum. Okay, example number 2. So, example number 2. So, you may pause this video kung gusto nyo mag-practice on your own. Or kung nalilito pa rin kayo, pwede kayong makipag-sabay sa akin while we review this. So, example number 2. What is the mass in grams of 2 moles of magnesium? So, step number 1, ano yung given natin? We have 2 moles. So, nilagay ko na siya sa unahan. And, ano yung hinahanap? Yung grams natin, no? Mass in grams. So, next step is to find the molar mass per mole of the compound. Kasi gusto nga natin mag-cancel out yung mole. So, based sa periodic table, ang ating magnesium is 24.31 grams na magnesium. Okay? So, dahil gusto natin mag-cancel out yung mole natin here, we have, sorry no, napalampas lang ng kaunti. So, we multiply 2 times 24.31. So, let's have our calculator back. Saan ba natin ito pwedeng ilagay? Okay. So, we have 2 times 24.31. So, we get 48.62. So, the answer is 48.62 grams of magnesium. Okay? So, next, practice. So, next, example number 3. What is the mass in grams of 4 moles of water? So, now, kanina kasi puro mga elements lang, no? So, ngayon, we find here ang buo na H2O. So, ang ating hinahanap is mass in grams. Ang ating given ay meron tayong 4 moles of H2O. We have 4 moles here and blanco. Hinahanap natin. Okay, next step is to find the molar mass. So, earlier, we were able to compute yung ating molar mass ng H2O. So, para lang i-review ko kayo, si hydrogen is meron tayong dalawang, so from 2, so H2 natin, dalawang atom. So ang kanyang atomic mass ni H ay 1 based sa periodic table. So 2 times 1 is we get 2. And then, si oxygen natin, as we can see here, meron siyang invisible na 1. So, this is 1. And then, yung 16 natin is galing sa periodic table. Kung ilan ang, ang kanyang atomic mass. So, we get 16. So, 1 times 16 is 16. And then, we add this 2 para makuha yung ating relative formula mass or molar mass. So, ang total natin ng molar mass ng ating H2O ay 18 grams per mole. So, now, saan natin ilalagay si 18 grams? Sa taas ba or sa baba ng equation? So, gusto natin kasi makancel out si mole. So, saan natin ilalagay si molar mass? Okay? So, ilalagay natin si molar mass sa taas. So, para makancel out si mole. Yan. Okay. So, now we compute again. So, let's have our calculator back. So, we have 4. Times, we have 18. So, total natin is 72. Okay? So, final answer is 72 grams of water. Okay? So, I hope that is clear because we will have a practice set. So, on your own, pwede nyong sagutan po ito. So, we have grams to moles and moles to grams na practice. So, question number 1, find the mass in grams of 3.4 moles of CO2. So, makikita nyo, no, mga compound na siya. So, you have to find the molar mass nito. Okay, next is find the mass, in grams of 2.5 moles nitong iron 3 oxide. And what is the mass in grams of NaCl if there is 3.5 moles present? So, dito sa number 3, binago ko lang yung question dito but it is the same formula as this 1 and 2. Okay? For 4 and 5, we have to find the moles, no? Dito naman, given yung grams natin. So, if there is 45 grams of carbon is in the sample, how many moles of carbon are there? So, you have to find the moles. For number 5, this is quite tricky. So, para tong binigay yung ating compound, there is 50.5 grams of NH3 present. So, how many moles of N are there? So, basically, you have given tayo na 50.5 grams, meron tayong N, and you have to find the moles. So, same lang din to nung formula ng number 4. And sabi dito, how about hydrogen? So, ganun din formula, same formula with number 4. So, compute for the moles of both elements. So, that is your practice set for grams to moles and moles to grams. And that is the end of part 2 ng ating stoichiometry. So, we still have another part of this. So, gagawin naman natin yung the other way around, no? Yung gamit si Avogadros number and also yung gagamitin na natin yung simula una from grams to moles to atoms and pabalik, vice versa. Okay, so thank you for listening.